Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. From the onset, I want to say I do not support this constitutional amendment bill for the following reasons. One, Mr. Speaker, is that when you look at this bill by the promoters, it says they collected the views of Kenyans. But no one has shown us what really Kenyans want or how these ideas were collected. Number two, therefore, Mr. Speaker, there is assertion that Article 257 talks about popular initiative. This popular initiative, Mr. Speaker, if you look at it, it should be a parliamentary initiative by the political parties of President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, simply by the fact that they should have used their own political parties to push this agenda. Because you cannot have a popular initiative where state resources, you have secretariat that uses taxpayers' money, contrary to Okoa Kenya and Punguza Mzigo bill that we already had, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, under Article 257, on the popular initiative, the threshold of popular initiative is too high that you can't compare on what this bill tries to talk about, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, another misnomer, when you look at the views of Kenyans expressed through the Building Bridges initiative, and these views were not captured. For example, Mr. Speaker, when you look at the Article 94, the role of the legislative power, Article 257 and Article 259, 260 on construing of the Constitution, and my good Professor Mutaha Kang'u taught me constitutional law, you don't interpret the law in isolation. So there are people in this country who want to interpret the Constitution in isolation of Article 257(7). And when you look at the construing of the Constitution, the legislative power has not been taken from us. So the people want to say Parliament is a form of flower girls or page boys, is something that we are keen. And Mr. Speaker, people are forgetting that under Article 1 of the Constitution, we are representative of the people. We represent the interest. When we speak here, I speak on behalf of more than 875,000 residents of Nandi who gave me the mandate. This is what Thomas Hobbes and Aquinas said, that when life was short, nasty and brutal, we surrendered and created a sovereignty where some individuals could exercise this power. Mr. Speaker, and I think these are some of the issues that when you want to say Parliament should just salutary process, we should not give an input, then we are abdicating our responsibility as Kenyans. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, when times comes, I hope some of the amendments, my colleagues, Senator Irungu Kang'ata, Senator Wambua, and myself at the Committee of the Whole will be allowed to amend this bill to refine it, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, it is the same people who are telling us there is room for amendment are the same people who told us in 2010 Constitution that tupitishe alafu tutarekebisha baadaye. Now they are removing the same lie. And Mr. Speaker, we can't allow that to happen again. Mr. Speaker, we must do the right thing at the right moment so that we don't, we are tired. Every 10 years, we come and amend the Constitution to suit particular interest of politics, Mr. Speaker. And it is unfortunate that the leaders, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, Mr. Speaker, are given Kenyans the kiss of Judas, the kiss of betrayal. In the aspiration, I'm disappointed with my party leader. When we elected him, after the Supreme Court nullified elections, we went for election. He promised Kenya the Big Four agenda. As a member of Jubilee, there is nowhere we sat and said one of the Jubilee agenda was to be constitutional amendment. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a kiss of Judas to Kenyans for 7.5 million that should have now stopped wearing chains of slavery, chains of corruption, chains of poverty, chains of poor governance, but they should be wearing the star of liberty, prosperity, and success for this nation. Mr. Speaker,
Hoja nidhamu, Speaker. Bwana Speaker, katika taratibu zetu za bunge zinaeleza ya kwamba hawezi kumtaja mtu yoyote ambaye hayuko ndani ama hajaitwa na bunge ama hawezi kujitetea. Je, itakuwa ni jambo la haki kwa kutumia matusi ama kutumia lugha ambayo haifai kwa viongozi wa Kenya, hususan Baba Raila Amolo Odinga na kiongozi wa taifa la Kenya His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. Je, ni haki kwa mheshimiwa kijana ambaye namjua na nampenda sana, ndugu yangu Cherargei, seneta mshupavu sana wa Nandi, kutumia lugha kama hiyo ikiwa anajadiliana hii ugeuzi wa katiba? Je, ni sawa hiyo kufanya kitendo kama hicho?
Yeah, Senator Cherargei, don't let emotions overtake what you want to say, and don't drag party things to this house. Please keep to the lane.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Of course, the impulsion of political parties should not reach here. I'm told the latest is ODM, but that is neither here nor there. So, Mr. Speaker, I think to stick to the issues that is before us, Mr. Speaker, is one, apart from the popular initiative, Mr. Speaker, and I think number two is I wanted to look at Article 11A of the Clause 3 of the Constitutional Amendment Bill, where we are talking about shared prosperity. Mr. Speaker, I remember when the BBI task force visited Nandi, the tea farmers, the coffee farmers, the sugarcane farmers, Mr. Speaker, wanted their issues to be included in this bill. That is why, if I'll be given a chance, I would like to amend and ensure that the cost of production in the pricing of crops, produce and products should not come below the cost of production in pricing. And there should be fertilizer subsidy, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as we talk today in North Rift, the rains have begun. The long rains for planting season. There is no subsidized fertilizers. The economy is doing badly. And when there is shortage of food, Mr. Speaker, and when farmers are not able to farm, then, Mr. Speaker, we cannot have an opportunity of ensuring that we have sufficient food supply in this country. So, Mr. Speaker, I would have expected, in the spirit of ensuring that we protect farmers, Mr. Speaker, we should have ensured that the pricing is in the right place, that we should have ensured the farm inputs and the cost of pricing should not come below the cost of production, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the second issue is that there were some issues of typo errors and many other things I noticed in this bill, Mr. Speaker. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to delve on the issue of, and therefore agriculture, Mr. Speaker, is very important. When you look at the index that we had before, according to Kenya Yearbook, Mr. Speaker, there was a total of around 2019, 17, 18 year that Kenya had 497.8 billion. So agriculture is very important in terms of horticulture, tea. You know, tea now, Mr. Speaker, is suffering from a lot of attacks. There is reforms by government. There is resistance within the tea sector. Issues of sugarcane. They want to privatize leasing of Nyando Sugar Belt, which Nandi County is part of it. The farmers have lived. We were told there is a cherry fund that was supposed to be established through the coffee sector. Mr. Speaker, has not been captured. We were being told that the significant growth of maize, Mr. Speaker, including your county, Bungoma, and I had opportunity when I was in Kabuchai, and there were several lessons that were from that event, Mr. Speaker, and some of them are not so good. Mr. Speaker, I want to say they are depend in that entire region, and I can see the party leader of Fort Kenya, my brother Moses, is smiling. I don't know what he knows more than what I do, but I can tell you there are many lessons that I learned, that also that area grows maize and depend heavily on other factors of production, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of agriculture, it has not been addressed, even on shared prosperity. When we talk about shared prosperity, does it mean for one family, for Kenyans? Where is this shared prosperity when the farmers of this nation continue to go to farm? The biggest beneficiaries in the chain of value addition of farming in this country, Mr. Speaker, is solely based on the brokers, the milk farmers. The prices are being dictated, and I have said before in this house that Competition Authority of Kenya has failed the nation in as much as issues of crop production and many others. Mr. Speaker, when you move now to the issue of constituencies, and I agree with Senator Wambua on this, that for example, Nandi, we were cheated upon, because Nandi has a population of 885,711. We were given one constituency. Mr. Speaker, Kwale, which has 820, were given 3 constituencies, which is less by population. Busia, which had 893,691 population, was given 0. Kitui, Mr. Speaker, he had 1,136,187 were given 0. So, Mr. Speaker, as Nandi County, we would have expected not to be given one constituency. We should have been given 2 more. Because Kwale, which has 866, 820, were given 3 constituencies, Mr. Speaker. This is clear violation of Article 89(5), where there are features on sharing of the constituencies, Mr. Speaker. I have seen the second schedule where there is a purport to suspend the main article by saying the creation of 70 constituencies to increase them from 290 to 360, Mr. Speaker, is that should be suspended. Yet there are factors that have been provided in delimitation of Article 89(5) on sharing or creation of constituencies, Mr. Speaker. Not to mention that Parliament will be the largest, considering our population is 47.5 million Kenyans that we have. We'll have a double-decker Parliament. The cost of running this Parliament will increase by more than 20 billion, Mr. Speaker. And this is not good for the country, for the economy that is in ICU. Technically, Kenya is on receivership. That is why we are borrowing. And I have seen, in fact, in the budget of 2021-2022, I saw the ministry wants to borrow more, 1.something trillion more to factor the deficit budget that we have for 2021-2022, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that running of Parliament, I've seen Senate has not been given so much powers, but Senate has been created as a gender dumping ground where we just want to meet the threshold, we just want to make our women feel nice, and we want them to feel that they have been represented, the sharing. Yet women are being told, can you go and share 35%, Mr. Speaker? They are being chased away from the National Assembly, where 85%, where 75% is, 65%, sorry, is. And they are being told, go and share 35. Now you don't need women reps. And Mr. Speaker, I want our women of this country, I love them unconditionally. I want to say this, Mr. Speaker, that the affirmative fund that was created should have been more beneficial to women to run that affirmative fund. And I wish even if they were relocating them to Senate, they should have retained that affirmative fund because they can share the lives, they can change the lives of women, people living with disability.
Yes,
I hope my time will be frozen.
Yeah, there's a point of intervention.
Mr. Speaker, I would just like to ask the Senator for Nandi to stop misleading us, because much as the women rep seat has been removed, the funds that were allocated or that fund still remains in the National Assembly, and it can still be allocated to any other woman who is there to continue utilizing it for the benefit of the people of Kenya. You can't remove.
Order Senator Nyamunga, or you move closer to consult with Senator Wetangula. Senator Mogeni, there's another intervention.
Mr. Speaker, you know the women I represent from Nyamira are listening, and we don't want them to be misled or there to be confusion. Mr. Speaker, can Senator Nyamunga clarify, because he has left me more confused, clarify to the House how we are going to leave the women fund that is meant to be utilized by the 47 women reps, yet, Mr. Speaker, the Constitution is proposing to amend Article 97B to do away with the women seats. Mr. Speaker, can she shed light to the House and explain? I want to hear this legal miracle that is going to happen whereby you scrap the seat, but you leave the fund without somebody administering the fund. May we have some communication?
Order. Senator Nyamunga, you are...
And then, I don't know, you know, there is this statement. I really want my women in Nyamira to listen. You know, when she tells the House that this fund will be given to these other women, which women are these? Because the fund was to be given to the women reps sitting in the House representing counties. Mr. Speaker, which other women are these that will get this money?
Senator Shionga, what is your point of intervention?
Mr. Speaker, as much as my good chair here is right, but whose woman? Whose women? He's saying my woman in Nyamira. Are we saying, is he saying about the wife, or is he saying about which woman? Is it a woman rep Or what does he mean?
Order, senators. I think that's a moment of comic relief, but I think, Senator Nyamunga, you're out of order because the Senator Cherargei is the one on the floor, and what you are raising was your point of argument, so it cannot be a point of order. So, Senator Cherargei, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I think the women play a critical role, and it's coming at a time that the first female president or the first leader who is a female is in the country, President Suluhu Samia Hassan. I just want to challenge women that they should fight for these positions. They should work hard. They can be who they want to be. But my point is just to inform them so that we don't mislead. And I agree that the funds under this, that has been our consolidated fund, World Development Fund, CDF, that has been another funds, but there is no fund, affirmative fund, that is with the constitutional amendment that was being run by the women reps in the National Assembly. So, Mr. Speaker, finally on the issue of representation, is that I've seen in the amendment, and I want to challenge, I saw the Court Secretary General speaking about the supporting the BBI. Having not read under Article 97, it has been amended, and on the part, and I want to trade unionists and lawyers who sometimes represent trade unionists, including my seniors here, that the special seat for workers has been removed. So under this amendment, Article 97, that the membership of the National Assembly, the workers used to have one representative. It has been removed. So how will the trade unionists, the labor issues be legislated and be discussed at the House of Representation, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, I hope the labor movements and unions are listening to this, the Kenya National Union of Nurses, COTU, among other organizations. Let them know that the role of workers has been removed in this document, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, after that proportionate representation, Mr. Speaker, I would like to say something. The amendment on the issue of judicial ombudsman. Mr. Speaker, I've seen yesterday, I thought my time was frozen, Mr. Speaker. I've seen yesterday that judiciary ombudsman just should retain with the Chief Justice. And I propose that we delete that from constitutional. I'm proposing in the aspect where Judicial Service Commission, Mr. Speaker, as opposed to on their own motion, issue discipline, reprimand, or suspend a judge, I'm recommending that the tribunal as practiced over the world, Mr. Speaker, that role should be retained within GSC, but allow the tribunal to investigate the judge, because we know what happens in this country. So if you don't like your face, somebody can chase you out. So the judiciary ombudsman should remain with the Chief Justice. Let them do their work there. They have been doing it very well there. I remember in 2017, 2018, when we launched the strategic plan, when then I was the chair of JLAC, there were 3,515 complaints against judiciary. The judicial ombudsman was able to address 2,324, and that is significant. So let us allow judiciary ombudsman to remain with the office of the Chief Justice, and I think, Mr. Speaker, that is very important. Mr. Speaker, finally, on the issue of National Police Service Commission, I'm proposing that the Inspector General of Police should not be given unfettered powers of promotion, discipline, and many others, Mr. Speaker, as under Article 245. Let it be done with the approval of National Police Service Commission. Why would you want to make? We know if you, Inspector General of Police, if given power, they have likes and dislikes. They can go to a police station, doesn't like the OCS, they fire. They have girlfriends and boyfriends, they put them in those positions. We know how power that is raw that can be given to them. And we need to move away, Mr. Speaker, because even SRC under Article 230 has been removed representation of trade union, Judicial Service Commission, other commissions that we have, Mr. Speaker. And I think it is very important, Mr. Speaker, going into the future. We are saying, I don't know whether imperial presidency was because Moi was a president or what. Because now what we see in this constitution, Mr. Speaker, is recreation of imperial presidency. We are not seeing where, because if you give power under Article 230, Mr. Speaker, that appointment of commissioners remains with the SRC. When you look under Article 245, Mr. Speaker, and I think that is very important, we should not give Inspector General unfettered powers. We know what happens when one person is given those powers. Let it be with the approval of National Police Service Commission, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, and if you can add me 1 minute, is that what I want to appeal, even as we reject this constitutional amendment, Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal that this bill, there is no hurry in this country. I have seen people saying if this is passed, there will be delay of elections. I want to tell them the term of parliament under Article 102 is very specific under the Constitution. So anybody who wants to extend term, I've seen people within the presidency telling the president, you are too young to retire. You know, with the BBI, you are delayed with COVID. You are not supposed to perform your functions, Mr. Speaker. I think the law is very clear. When 5 years end, we need to fix this country. In the words, in closing, Mr. Speaker, in the words of Thomas Sankara, the celebrated leader who changed the Upper Volta into Burkina Faso, the country of upright men, he said, democracy and revolution and good governance belongs to the convinced people. It does not belong to the conquered people. It does not belong to people who have resigned their fate. We must take charge of our destiny, Mr. Speaker. This is the moment, and I insist Parliament still have a law to amend. And I would also want to see my brother, the minority whip, our brilliant legal mind and the future governor of Makueni, to give us amendments to fine-tune this document, Mr. Speaker, before passing it. And as my chair, Mr. Speaker, as the chair emeritus, and I'm happy of Senator Okongo Mugeni, no one will kill us if we amend this document. President Uhuru nor Raila Odinga will not kill us. Let us amend for the future of this country. For us, Mr. Speaker, who still have some time in this world. I know some people are almost making phone call to heaven, Mr. Speaker, because of the number of years they have been around to heaven, Mr. But some of us who still have opportunity, we want to see the future. Mr. Speaker, I thank you, and I reject this. I reject this amendment. I thank you.
Senator Cherargei. Senator, I don't know what is exciting you.